Right now, more than 147 million COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the U.S., and 53 million Americans are fully vaccinated. But worldwide, only about 7 doses for every 100 people have been administered, according to the New York Times. The big challenge, of course, will be to vaccinate enough of the global population to prevent new variants and other major outbreaks. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman of Massachusetts, Jake Auchincloss. Congressman, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Sir, you're proposing for or calling for rather a Marshall Plan of sorts for global vaccinations. Talk to us about that. And how does that work? What would a plan like that actually include?
We need global scale vaccine production and distribution, and it needs to be headquartered here in the United States. We're on track as a country to reach herd immunity by this summer, but huge swaths of the rest of the world are not on track to reach it until 2023. And that is the tinder for more variants to emerge that could become the next pandemic. We need to be taking the lead as a country on a Marshall Plan for vaccines. That's going to do 3 things for us. One, it's going to prevent those variants from emerging. We're already dealing with the Brazil variant right now, for example. We don't want to see others coming. 2, it's going to create good jobs here in the United States in high-growth industries like biomanufacturing. And 3, it's going to prevent China from using vaccine diplomacy to extract concessions in our own backyard and in developing countries throughout the world. This is an opportunity for the United States to reclaim moral leadership throughout the world after 4 years of depredations under Donald Trump.
And Congressman, you've probably seen, as we look at live pictures there of President Biden arriving in Pittsburgh, you probably saw this recent Wall Street Journal op-ed that talked about how the focus right now should be on Europe and the United States. They make up about 10% of the world's population, but make up about 40% of its COVID cases. And in that argument, there should not be a rush, so to speak, to get the vaccines rolled out to other parts of the world, developing parts of the world like Africa and South America and elsewhere. What would you say to that, to the argument that right now the focus on vaccine rollout should be on Europe and the United States?
The United States needs to vaccinate its own population first. That's an obligation we have to our own citizens. We are on track to do that. As the president has said, by May, we'll have enough vaccines for all adults. By this summertime, we will be hitting herd immunity, according to the best forecast we've seen. At that point, the question becomes, what do we do with excess surplus? If we see that Europe is the highest ROI for vaccine delivered, then let's start with Europe. But ultimately, there are 7 billion people in this world, and this is a global problem that's going to require a global solution. There is no other country except for the United States that can lead here.
You've probably also seen that Russia and China, they both reached agreements with other countries to supply them with doses of the COVID-19 vaccines. You talked a little bit about what this means for the United States as an opportunity to re-engage with the international community. Elaborate on that. What would that do for the United States to step up as well alongside Russia and China and make sure these countries have the vaccine?
21st century foreign policy is going to be built on countries that can tackle transnational challenges together. Climate change and public health are the top 2. Rejoining the Paris Agreement and our investments in clean energy research are an important way that the United States is stepping up for climate change. To do so in public health requires us to take the lead on this Marshall Plan. Do we want China extracting concessions for Huawei in Brazil, or do we want the United States to be building partner public health capabilities in Brazil in exchange for vaccines there? Instead of having an extractive relationship between the Chinese Communist Party and countries on our border, we could have a relationship of partnership and productive exchange.
All right, Congressman Jake Auchincloss, thank you so much, sir, for your time this afternoon. I greatly appreciate it.